Hello, Fisherman Joe here again. So let's have a look and see what we've got now. Last video we opened up a box of Ancient Origin Elite Trainer box off camera, and we had a look at some of the stuff that you got inside there. And we had a flick through the player's manual, and in that player's manual it talks about 2 theme decks, and that's what we have here. So let's get these puppies open and have a look. Now, in previous videos I've just blasted through the cards because we just want to have a look and see what we've got, and sort of have a bit of a bit of a look. And we'll go a little bit into a bit more detail into each cards in these theme decks, because these theme decks are excellent for getting started and also for experienced trainers. One of the main reasons for that is they come jam-packed with really useful trainer cards, and that's what we like. So you always get a coin. Look, there's Groudon. I'm hoping Kygo will be in the other box. I haven't actually opened that one, the boxes as of yet, so I don't actually know what coin you get in there. Also, in the Elite Trainer box, I mentioned that you get some hard plastic effects counters. So these are the alternative. They're all right. There's nothing wrong with them, but they are made out of cardboard. So if they get wet, they get damaged, and they can bend easy, and they don't last as long. But there you go. So, and you get a whole thingy of those damage counters and what have you. There's a Regirock, nice shiny Regirock. You always get a special holo in the theme decks. So what ends up happening is you'll have your holo, you may have your reverse holo, and then you'll get this sort of, I call it a shard holo, because as you can see it's like it's smashed glass. So let's have a quick look inside. Yep, you get a nice little cardboard box. These never tend to last very long. They tend to get damaged pretty quickly, but they're okay. They're okay. So what have we got in here? So these tend to come all mixed up already, pretty much just placed straight out the box. I tend to give them a bit of a shuffle just for convenience sake. Virizion, Ariados, Oddish, Combi, Tierno. So this is exactly what I'm talking about regarding the trainer cards. In here you've got an absolute shed load of basic trainer cards that get you started. Tierno is really good. I'm not sure if you can see there. Come on, focus. There we go. Draw 3 cards as a supporter. No better way to get your deck rolling. Start pulling some extra cards early on, so you can flesh out your hand. Searching for basic Pokemon with a level ball. Professor's Letter, that's really useful. Search your deck for 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. And this is one of the reasons why we get them, because it's jam-packed full of energies and jam-packed full of trainers and supporters. Really often sought after if you've got a load of spares. Take them down to someone you know who also plays. Get yourself some trades on. People will do pretty crazy trades for some of these, especially if they run 4 or 5 decks and they're running short. Potions, good old basic old potions, that's what we like. Pokemon Center Lady. Pokemon Center Lady is so good. Heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of your Pokemon. Can't complain at that. So with all these theme decks, there'll be a like a core mechanic that runs through, and they always explain it in these. These are just like little leaflets that you get, that sort of give you tips and sort of help you out regarding the special rules. So we've got some special rules on ancient traits, special rules for Mega Evolution Pokemon. We always like to make sure that we hold on to those and understand they're the newest mechanics at the moment. And also you get your play mats. These are pretty cool, especially if you're just learning. I'll tell you what, we'll unfold it. Oh, there we go, like unfolding a map. So you can see these things are pretty sizable. But you do get both sides of the field, which is good. There you go, you can see some of that. Some useful tips for keeping yourself in play while you're playing. Like I say, they're dead good for beginners because they give you everything you need. And on the back are all the rules. So let's fold that back up, or at least we'll try and fold that back up. Like I say, like a map, they can get pretty hairy. Here we go, yeah, there we go, there's some progress, that's what we like. So, let's actually have a look at the back of the box and see what it says. So, strength of spirit, strength of stone. This deck's got heart, the kind of prize fighter's heart that never quits. With the stone heart theme deck, your Pokemon can poison, paralyze, and trick opposing Pokemon in many ways. So it appears that as we look through, we'll probably see a lot of status effects. Let's have a look. There we go, B-Drain. Same amount of damage as you did to your Pokemon, so that's a good heal one. Fury Swipes, that's always useful. Data check, look through your deck, shuffle your deck afterwards, so that's really good. Use that early on, you can figure out what prizes that you have. You can sort through your deck, have a good look, and make some fair assessments about what you may pull. Flip a coin if heads your opponent's active Pokemon is paralyzed. That's off a basic Spinnerack. Some more coin flips. Trip over. Here we go. Here's that irritating pollen. Each player can't play any item cards from his or her hand. Incredibly useful if you've stacked your deck with effects so that you don't have to use these item cards. Last thing you want to do is shoot yourself in the foot with that. But there are a lot of cards, like for example the Hooper that we saw in a previous video, that lets you search for EX cards without having to use an item card. So that's probably where you want to go with that, using effects instead of items, and you can shut down your opponent. That's what we like to see. You can play this card if you have more prize cards left than your opponent. So in other words, if you are losing for whatever reason, you can play this card. Each player shuffles his or her hand into her deck, then draws 6 cards. Your opponent draws 3. So useful. If you're losing because you're struggling with your hand, a lot of the time, a lot of time people struggle with a build. Maybe put too few energies in, maybe put too few basic Pokemon in, or even if you're just having straight up bad luck, give your hand a good reshuffle. You also have the issue of cutting down your opponent's hand, which is pretty cool. So if they're sat there, they've got some sort of combo in their hand, you play that at the right moment. Probably quite good to wait until they play some sort of EX, because then they can, any Spirit Links that they have, or maybe even any Mega Evolutions that they have, you might reshuffle those. So they're really, really useful. Just about playing at the right time. Poisonous Nest. You may use this ability. Both active Pokemon except for grass type Pokemon are poisoned. That's excellent. So considering this is a grass fighting deck, make sure your grass are up front and start laying down some poison. I can imagine your opponent will get very frustrated, especially as you can just do that every single turn without without doing anything really. Once during your turn, you don't have to flip a coin, you don't have to discard an energy. There is absolutely no cost whatsoever to doing that. That's really good. And, well, its basic attack's pretty useful. 30 damage. Defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn, so they will struggle to get that poison off. In fact, I've been talking out loud, and if you have, let's say you have that Vileplume out, oh look, that was pretty good. Just pulled it out at the right moment. So let's say you've dropped your Ariados, throw down some poison, make sure they can't retreat, so the only way that they'll be able to get rid of that poison is with an item card, but oh wait! Your Vileplume stops them using an item card, so they'll struggle to get rid of that poison. Very good, very useful. Let's see what else we've got here. Damage attack does 40 damage. If you have more prize cards left than your opponent, this attack does 80 damage. Always good. There's Wally in there. In fact, let's have a look at Wally. There's a lot of text on there. It's quite a complicated card, but it is ace. Search your deck for revolves from one of your Pokemon. Put that Pokemon onto it. Shuffle your deck afterwards. You can use this card during your first turn or on a Pokemon that was put into play this turn. which is fantastic. That Ariados, for example, is a stage 1 Pokemon, so you can just go ahead, search through that, get that poison down first turn, and start dealing some damage. Switches are always useful if you're not familiar with them. Switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So Pokemon have a retreat cost, which means you have to spend energy to retreat them. That can be frustrating, especially with some of the larger Pokemon, where it's sort of 3 or 4 energies to come back. That can be very difficult. Switch negates that, and you can just pull those guys straight back in, and take it from there. Here we go. So Pokemon Fan Club. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand and shuffle your deck afterwards. So filling up on basic Pokemon, you can imagine that coupled with a couple of Wallies, and away you go. So that's what this deck's about. Poison, paralysis, and just causing some pain. Let's put that to one side so we don't get that confused, because we do also have the second theme deck for this set as well, Iron Tide. So this one has a big Metagross on the front, so I suspect we will have a Shard Shiny Metagross. Let's chuck this box out the way and open up in here and see exactly what it is that we've got. So once again, we've got our online code, and we have, yep, there we go. You can see the Shard Shiny working its stuff there. Let's put that with Regirock. Okay, no, we don't have a Kyogre coin. We actually have a Rayquaza coin, and I think that may be Mega Rayquaza. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but it's still pretty cool. Once again, we have the field mat. So we've got a couple of those hanging around now. It's always useful to have. We have the rules that we had before. There you go. You can see the ancient trait rule there. Excellent. Once again, we have the cardboard damage tokens, and what we are all boiling down to at the end is having a look. This one's quite cool actually. It's got an angry Metagross on the front. So let's have a look and see what we've got in this deck. So this, water and steel. Interesting. So let's have a quick read on the back of the box, because that tends to give us a pretty good idea as to what this deck's supposed to do. And there we go. One of my cats is being overly curious. There's a plastic bag over there. Typical. So, Fury of Waves, Song of Steel. Crush your opponents with iron or sink them into the depths. Either way, you wield the chilling might of the Iron Tide theme deck, with Metagross leading the way. This deck shines out real steel from the start. Add in some big attacks like Forbidden Iron Hammer from Registeel and Hydro Splash from Vaporeon, and your opponent is awash in trouble. So it seems to be a bit of a nuky deck. Just get the damage out as quickly as you can, start piling it on. So we expect to see some heavy hitters in all this. Professor's Letter, that helps you power up your energies, pretty sharpish. That's always useful. Eevees, yeah, we were told there was a Vaporeon in here. Look now. Full Retaliation. This does 30 damage to each damage counter on your bench Magikarp. Interesting. Flip the coin. If heads, this does 30 more damage. If tails, it does 30 to itself. Risk attacks. Interesting. Here's this Registeel. If your opponent's active Pokemon is an EX, discard an energy attached to that Pokemon. Interesting. Does 70 damage. Yeah, so as with all these new sets, EX Pokemon are absolutely rife. People love them. People can't help but play them. And we've been down the road where there are cards that prevent EX Pokemon from working. There's an interesting, I believe it's I believe there's one that means that EX Pokemon can't attack it. That's a Sigilif, I believe it is. And there are lots of other cards as well. There was in Plasma Storm, I think there were some A-Spec cards that meant that you couldn't attack if you couldn't do damage if you weren't an EX Pokemon. There's a couple as well that prevent Stage 1 and 2 Pokemon from hurting it. So all in all, there are some anti-EX cards out there, and they can make some pretty interesting decks. This is exactly what I was talking about. One Putty Cat. Go on, shoot. There we go. Anyway, So moving on swiftly, so here we go, look, we've got some Magikarps here. So, for example, the Gyarados was saying if any Magikarps on the bench have taken damage, it does extra attack, but they've only got 30 HP, so it would be interesting to see what they are thinking might attack them. Wait, what have we got here? Oh, we have a reverse and upside down level ball. Well, it always throws it into the fray. We've got some more switches there, metal energies. Now, I believe we glossed over this in the last deck, but we'll have a quick look at it now. Whenever the Pokemon this card attached to is your active Pokemon and is damaged, draw 2 cards. That's pretty useful. Helps you get through your deck a bit quicker, lets you set up a retaliation quicker. These are all good things. Relicanth, Magikarp, so on and so forth. So, these trial decks, always really good place to start. Give you some interesting ideas as to where to go from there. But yeah, most importantly, especially for veteran trainers, they are rammed full of useful basic trainers. And that's why we get them. Excellent. Speak to you later, guys.